Okay, so this is the XK A1200. I just maiden this yesterday, also in misty conditions in the evening. I thought maybe I'd try and give it a little, it was windy then though, quite windy. I thought I'd maybe try and give it a little bit more of a second flight today. I put the battery a little bit further forward this time, since it seemed to me that it was flying as if it was tail heavy, intending to porpoise and things, whatever, last time. Somewhat, the throttle cut does not work. That's throttle cut swing in one position, throttle cut switch in the other position. Yeah, he doesn't run very smoothly. You really got with a white plane like this, he disappears in this mist pretty darn quickly. God, he does. Yeah. Cut the motor, let him glide a bit, see how he glides. Oh, I think he glides a lot better with a battery in this position. Yeah, well, of course, I mean, it's not really a fair comparison, since there was a lot of wind before and there's none now. He benefits from handling somewhat gently, don't give him too much motor, don't give him too much control. Whoa, famous last words, but then he tends to stall. He also has a not very pleasant stall. He really drops when he stalls. He doesn't drop a wing, but he drops his nose heavily when he stalls. Now, he has stabilization, but I've been flying him today. Yesterday I was flying with the stabilization on. Today I'm flying him with the stabilization off, because it's not really, well, for one thing, I want to see what his actual characteristics are when he's not mucking around. Interestingly enough, even with the stabilization on, you could still stall him nastily. Because obviously stabilization is not going to, I don't expect it to stop you slowing him down, but you might have thought it might correct a bit. Actually, it seems to be, I haven't put the stabilization on today, but it seems to be fairly mild stabilization in a sense. I mean, I believe, I haven't tried it myself, but I believe people were saying even with the stabilization on, although they call it six-axis stabilization, he self-levels if you let go of the sticks, but I believe you can do loops and rolls, which is unusual. That most six-axis stabilizations will stop you looping and rolling. I mean, even there I'm almost stalling him. You really have to keep some speed up or let him come down if you don't want him to stall. That bird seems to be getting confused by me. And as I say, they tout this plane principally as an FPV platform, although I didn't buy the FPV kit with it, but I mean, it's got FPV written on the right on the side of it. I could see you might want to keep the stabilization on for FPV, because then you can just sort of bank and yank. I don't know, not that I know nothing about FPV flying. I'm thinking of giving it a try at some point, but I know very little of it, or basically nothing about it from experience. My only knowledge of it is from watching videos online, pretty much. He glides not too badly, but he comes down reasonably fast in a glide. He comes with a 2,000 milliamp hour 2-cell battery, and they claim that you can fly up to, well, they say 45 minutes, they claim. I'd be a bit dubious about that, but, well, I mean, I suppose it's perfectly conceivable, really, if you were taking him up high and gliding him. I mean, I can fly the Crescendo for over half an hour, for sure, and that's on a 1,300 milliamp hour 2-cell battery. So yes, I mean, if you were flying him like that, going up and trying to trim him and glide him as well as possible, yes, you might well be able to keep him in the air for 40-45 minutes, maybe, if you wanted to. Who knows? There he is, sort of low pass, gliding. So he has a very unpleasant stall for something of his kind. Well, unpleasant, I shouldn't say. But he does. He drops his nose extremely sharply, so you need to make sure you level him before you cut the power like that. If you cut the power while he's still got his nose up, he'll just stall and drop it very sharply, which is kind of counterproductive. Not fatal at a high altitude, but kind of counterproductive, since you just lose a bunch of the altitude you just paid for, as it were. He's coming down pretty darn fast. It's not... he's gliding pleasantly enough, but he's not staying up very much. And because I don't want to take him too high because of this mist. Because I wouldn't. Well, I need to get him level and straight, basically, before I cut the power, so that he doesn't stall. Now the question is, how much can I keep him up in a glide? You see, I'm a bit nervous about raising his nose too much because I'll just stall him, and I don't want to stall him that close to the ground. And as you can see, I mean, if I get him any distance away in this mist, he starts to get hard to see. I have also read reports online of people who said that, you know, he's not all that strong. I mean, you know, you're not going to have any problem if you're flying him like this, I'm sure, just, you know, climbing him and gliding him. But there were people online who said that they were doing, you know, started doing power loops and things with him, and they ended up breaking that, the wing spar that is in him, which is surprising because it's like, well, it's like a piece of plastic with two square pieces of carbon fiber rod coming out of it at an angle, one on either side to support each wing. But I've seen pictures online where people had actually broken those carbon fiber rods, or sort of, you know, frayed them anyway, twisted them and frayed them. They gave way under the strain. I mean, they may have been a sort of freak thing that they had a poor quality, a badly made carbon fiber rod or something, but it's, you know, it's something, you know, makes you a little possibly concerned. I think one guy said, you know, he actually did a power loop and one of the wings came off at height, and he found that the carbon fiber rod had just given way, or whatever, pulled out of the frayed and pulled out of the plastic. So I am flying it over the top on me now. I really shouldn't be doing that. This is just, you know, like other things online. I only got it yesterday. I haven't had any problem. I haven't tried to do anything much with it. Tempted to do a little gentle loop or something with it, but you got, you know, a little bit of altitude, because I don't want to gain too much altitude, because you're going to lose sight of it if I gain too much altitude. There you go. Well, hopefully, I don't think that showed any signs of breaking the wings. I think he must have been doing some fairly energetic stuff to break the wings. The motor, see, I'm flying him way, even when I've got the throttle on, I'm flying him way below full throttle most of the time, except then when in the climb of the loop I put him up to full throttle. But I can't let him glide away from me there much, because I would lose sight of him. See, he's stays pretty much on the limits, not right, but I don't want him right on the limits of my vision. I've got to turn him, keep turning him so I can see him in the mist. Oh well, I don't know. We're probably not going to prove much else today. At some point I'll mount a camera on him, but I don't think wait for a nicer looking day. I stalled him then, basically, almost. I let him go up a bit, and he just stalled, basically. I suppose you could call it a relatively benign stall. He just drops his nose. But he can drop his nose rather extremely if you're not careful in a stall. Anyway, let's think about bringing him in now, then. Preferably without stall. Flaming heck. No, see, that wasn't... what I was planning to do there was do another circle gliding, but I guess I didn't have enough glide altitude to do so. It's a bit hard to judge. Yeah, the reason I was turning him towards the field there was that I was planning to do a circuit gliding and then bring him into land, and then I found that he wasn't prepared to do a circuit gliding. Now I'm just bringing him into land. I thought he was a bit too high to land. Then, you want to put throttle cut on, but the throttle cut doesn't work. You can flip the switch till you're blue in the face. It doesn't do anything. Anyway. And you can judge the size of that. I don't know whether you can see my hand and arm and the size of it there. Now, I do not have it in I have it in non-stabilized mode there, but that's just like the AS3X stabilization working, which is working quite a bit, right? It is. All the XK things tend to do that. I find even that's stabilized mode. That's what they call self-leveling mode. That's non-stabilized mode, but even in non-stabilized mode, it's still got quite a lot of sort of correction gyro in it. You can change that. The transmitter is programmable. So you can go into the transmitter. You can't program the receiver. There's nothing to program. They don't give you anything to program the receiver with, but I haven't played with it yet, but there's a gyro setting in the transmitter. And you can, basically it's just a percentage for one setting and a percentage for the other setting. Which in itself tells you, I'm sort of on the wrong table here, but, it sort of tells you that it's not a normal self-leveling gyro, because it's just like, it's a correctional gyro, and you're putting variable percent. See how the rudder is trying to correct there? And that's in what they call the 3D mode, the non-self-leveling mode. I have to have a look in the transmitter and see what percentage gyro they've got. I think they've got something like 80% gyro in the self-leveling mode and about 8% in the what they call the 3D mode. We'll see. Anyway. Whoa, see, no throttle cut. Okay. Whoops, famous last words. Where are we? Okay. So this is the battery for it. 2,000 milliamp hour, and we'll put in which way round. I can never remember which way round these things go. There we go. And it's 7.92, 3.96, 3.96 on each cell, which is, given that they claim you can fly 40 minutes on it, I'm sort of surprised that it's that low after such a relatively short flight.